Hi there, everyone. This is Tom with Escape Artist and Escape Artist Home Business, and today I have the pleasure of interviewing Eric Green, the digital gangster. Eric, how are you doing today?
Hey, I'm doing great, Tom. It's great to be with you, man. How's it going on your end?
It's still going good. Have a cold day in Georgia, so I'm looking forward to learning a little bit more about you. I know we're working together with Escape Artist Home Business, and you've got some exciting things to share and a story to share with our readers. You know, we started Escape Artist Home Business about a year ago, really, I guess, in response to our readership going, hey, you know, the real estate market's kind of dead. You know, where are the income opportunities that exist in the market today? And we came up with Escape Artist Home Business. And the purpose of the website was not only to provide world-class opportunities, but also world-class mentors, people like Eric Green. And Eric has joined us. He's one of the EmpowerNetGuru team, and will be lending his expertise. And today we're going to be covering really the nuts and bolts, the do's and don'ts of internet marketing. And I think there's just a ton of wisdom, a wealth of wisdom in Eric's story alone, just in perseverance and sticking with it. Because once you dial in on internet marketing, it's absolutely fabulous, isn't it, Eric?
It is. It's phenomenal. It's been life-changing for me. You know, I've made a lot of good choices along the path and a lot of tough choices along the path that you know, has certainly given me setbacks. So, you know, that's like any industry and anything that you're trying to learn and delve into something new. But it's kind of once you can dial in and understand this model, really sky's the limit on really what direction and you know, what path you want to go down. It's very empowering when you kind of understand how everything really fits together, and it's great to be working with a 15-year vet like yourself. So it's real exciting to be a part of this entire network with you guys.
That's great. Eric, tell us, how did you get introduced to internet marketing? Do you remember the day where you started looking? Do you remember the first program you bought?
Actually, it was a video marketing, video email program. I was with a company that's no longer in existence. It was a network marketing platform. They were a little ahead of their time, but I was actually at the time, I've been in sales and marketing most of my life. You know, I kicked around junior college for a little bit, and that didn't really work out, and I went straight into the sales course and started selling copiers of all things. And you know, back in those days, it was cold calling and 50, 70 cold calls a day, and you hope to, out of that, maybe get one appointment face-to-face out of that scenario. But I've always kind of been in that outside sales environment, and it was back in, it was 2000 and the end of 2006 when I was actually working for a collection agency, and I was selling their services, and we were losing bids because we were old, we were antiquated, we had an old website, you know, we didn't have the ability for our clients to upload their data to our site, and all of our competitors did. So, you know, I went to the management and ownership, and I said, hey, you know, we're losing these contracts because we're not, you know, technologically ready or in positions, you know, like our competitors. So they basically taxed me at that point and said, well, you know what, Eric, if we're going to do it, you're going to have to figure it out. And, you know, if you want to add that to your plate, go for it. So, you know, I didn't want to lose contracts anymore. So I did. I started to learn. I revamped their entire website. I didn't know anything about any of that stuff. We redid that. We put a portal in place so we could upload all this data and be competitive, in the marketplace. And then I started saying, guys, you know, it's interesting. I'm driving around to all these cities to meet with these folks, and really they're only interested in a few things. They're only interested in, you know, what are your rates, and can I get this, what's the process of me getting this data to you? So I said, well, why aren't we doing webinars? Why aren't we doing online, you know, why aren't we working with the internet here? And again, they said, well, go ahead and do that. So I basically started picking up the contracts that we were losing because now I had this in place. And then we had about 4 reps at the time. I was traveling about, you know, 75% less than those guys, and I was writing more business because I was interacting through web-based platforms with these clients. It was more convenient for them, and that's what really kind of got me into the whole internet space and just kind of understanding that, wow, this is a totally new way to communicate and reach out and work with people, because I was so used to the face-to-face interaction. I mean, so that's kind of where it started for me, Tom. And then I got into video email, and that kind of led me into, and it was, even back then, it was new, and buffer times took longer, and it really wasn't the right time for that type of technology. But it got me excited about the possibilities, and that's when I started to kind of, go out and start to buy some informational products and kind of learn about internet marketing, and that's kind of where it started for me.
I think that's one important point that you make. A lot of people don't realize that once you dial in on something that works, you can actually increase your revenues exponentially without increasing your overhead. And that's, I think, what is so attractive to the internet, is when you find the right ad and you find the right click-through rates and you find the right conversion rates, all it matters is just really amping up your advertising dollars and turning that, reinvesting your revenue till you get to a comfortable level of income or revenue. So that's a good signal. So, Richard Branson says, as an entrepreneur, it kind of sounds like you were forced into the technology market. They kind of threw you to the fire. But, right. Branson says that an entrepreneur is not somebody who's born. He says it's somebody that sees a void and goes out and fills it with a passion and wants to do it better than anybody else. And it sounds like that's, really one thing that you did in that line of business. Tell me about your beginnings in internet marketing. What mistakes did you make that you can look back on that you wouldn't want the people that are deciding to work with us make? What are some of the biggest mistakes that you've seen people make?
Well, one of the biggest, there's several. One of the biggest and one of the things that really kind of hurt me in the beginning is you get online and you get exposed to all of these opportunities and ways that you can generate income. And there's a little trap, and I call it chasing money, right? And so many people get caught up in chasing money, and they get dialed in, and they don't understand really what the model's about. They don't understand that, they don't know what copywriters are. They don't know that a lot of things are designed from a psychological standpoint to get them to give them money, right? So they begin to chase money. And I got involved in programs that looked good on the front end, but there really wasn't any sort of training, any sort of support, anything like that on the back end. So I found myself, and I think a lot of people that come online find themselves kind of following the hype a little bit. And that is a huge mistake, because some people will follow that. It's amazing. You'll see people that I'm in this program or that program. I'm doing this, and this, and this. And at some point, the light bulb goes off if they stick around long enough and they realize that they're in this kind of this cycle that's really taking them nowhere, because they're following and chasing the money rather than focused on educating themselves on what is the model, how does the model work, how do they fit within the model, which means what is their passion. So for me, by not really understanding in the beginning what is my passion and what are the marketing strategies, what are the things that I like to do. The other thing is I started kind of thinking, well, I've got to chase these marketing strategies because they seem to be, this is what everyone seems to be doing. And I would get involved and I would be like, I really don't like doing this. And, it's really time consuming. I'm not enjoying this process at all. And so I think people, everyone jumps into things without really thinking things through. And that's why I'm really excited about what you're doing here with really giving people value up front. Obviously when they opt in, they're taking a look at everything. They're going to have access to these interviews. Then hopefully some light bulbs will go off and they'll sit back and they'll really think. Because here's the thing, and I always say this, and if you can figure out a way to make money while educating yourself and learning the model, then there's not a better situation a newbie to the internet can be in. So if you're in a situation where I can dig in, I can learn from people that have been in the trenches, that understand what works, what doesn't work, meat and potatoes. Here's what you need to apply. Here are different, strategies. Pick the ones that kind of suit you, that you're comfortable with. If you can do that and really focus on educating yourself and still, as a byproduct, be able to generate cash flow, now you can take that cash flow and you can begin to use what you've learned and apply it to your passion, whatever that is. If you're a real estate agent, and you want to use technology. If you're an insurance agent, I'm here across town right now working with a gentleman who owns an insurance company, and a perfect example, right? He's never really used the internet. He knows he needs to. We sat down and talked, and I shared just kind of a simple breakdown of what a funnel was and how we can use just a simple platform like Craigslist and literally and using a survey model and literally give this guy high qualified prospects where, he's so busy, he doesn't have time to go through resumes, where now you've got a system in place that's going to make a prospect jump through all these hoops. And at the end, you're going to have all this information, and you're going to be able to go through these applications and pick out the best of the best. So he can sit down and maximize his time. That, to him, he's not, this guy is not interested. He has an insurance company. It's his passion. It's what he loves to do. That's his focus. So, it's not networking or direct sales or home-based business. So how does that guy can outsource, but he also now wants to kind of tap in and begin to learn some of these things himself so he can start to apply it to his business and his passion. So, that really, I know Tom, I'm kind of a little all over the place. I hope I'm kind of making sense as I go here, but people need to slow down and they need to focus on their education first. And again, if they can put themselves in a position to profit while they do that, then it's a win-win for anybody new to the internet. I spent a lot of money. I wasted a lot of money. I put myself in situations, that I wish, that I'm glad I was in. I learned, but I'm not a college graduate. I'm just a, regular guy, a burned out sales guy that wanted to kind of change his life and go down another path. So I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed, but I tell you this, I just continue to pound away and pound away and pound away and to get the answers, and slowly it started to kind of come to me. But I think there's a lot of smart people out there that get in, that know that they're smart, but they get into this industry and they realize really quickly, like, wow, like I bought that, I did that, I went down that road. They just can't believe it because they are smart, but there are so many traps when it comes to, delving online and really leveraging the internet to change your life. But that's back to you.
Well, I think what I hear you saying, and I wanted to make a comment because I've seen this as well. You've got the programs out there that offer killer training, great systems, and all of that, but they offer very little commission, And then you've got the programs out there that offer the really high commission, but they don't offer the training and support. And, I think people need to be aware of, at the end of the day, online marketing is no different than traditional marketing. The revenue model has to work. And you mentioned the word cash flow, and I wanted to add something to that take that positive cash flow, because you can make cash flow in the internet business, but you might be spending more cash flow to make that cash flow. And that's, I think, the big mistake that people make. We've seen people recently involved in, obviously, an EmpowerNetGuru that have had the ability to spend anywhere from $150 to $250 to generate $875 in revenue. And that is an ideal situation. Whereas I've been involved in other opportunities that pay a 20% commission, and you spend $120 to make a $20 commission. So people have to really watch their numbers, and though they're not complicated numbers to monitor, they're extremely important, especially when you're spending, $100 or $300 a day on ad spend. You got to make sure that your stuff is converting. And not only are you getting click-throughs, but you're also getting sales. And those are some of the things that I know for people who have watched the online marketing made easy video. All of this, should be somewhat making sense to them. But as in any business, there's a bottom line. There's your expenses versus your revenues, and people have to treat it. I don't think people always treat internet businesses as real businesses. Have you seen people just come in and it's like a game to them? They think they're going to get rich and they don't have to monitor anything, and I think that's just ridiculous.
it's just rampant, really. And you know, and some of it is the individual, and, you know, but a lot of it's perpetuated by, what the, you know, marketers that are out there that see an opportunity, right? So you got to understand, marketers are opportunists. So if they know that there's this huge segment of people that are buying into, you know, they're looking at the dream and they're buying into the hype, and you know, and it's interesting because, you know, that's what they're appealing to, and it is. A lot of people get plugged in, and they're very smart people, and sometimes I have conversations and I'm going, I know you're a smart guy, so does this, you have to understand, does this make sense? You know, are you telling me that, you know, look at any traditional business, you know, go walk down any street corner that you want with a traditional business, right? You know, they have expenses. They have advertising expenses. They're putting money into their business, and that's what's going to grow their business. You know, social media is a big, you know, I see a lot of marketers that really leverage social media. They leverage the free leads and traffic, and they tout, you know, I'm making, you know, 50 to 100 leads a day. But what you never hear from these guys is they may be spending for that, you know, 50 to 100 leads a day. They may be spending $5,000 to $7,000 a month in pay-per-click or whatever it is. But those things are never brought up. So for an individual that's out there, they're looking and they're saying, wow, you know, for next to no money, I could use YouTube and Facebook and all these social media platforms and start generating all these leads, and, you know, for virtually no, you know, no advertising budget at all. And that's the way that they're painting it. And it's until they buy into the program, they get excited, they're doing all this, and that's when they ultimately are sitting on a webinar, and finally the guru or whomever is telling them, well, you know, I'm actually spending about $5,000 to $6,000 a month to generate X, Y, Z. And it's like, people just can't dial into that. And I think social media, it's really, to me, it's a place. And I love social media marketing because when I started out, I didn't have really a lot of cash flow for advertising. So I really had to use a lot of the free marketing methods. But I think one of the things that helped me was my traditional and was my offline background, because if you're able to communicate, you're able to build relationships, which is what I was used to, you know, and you know, I picked up the phone, like when somebody made a comment or somebody, I mean, it was wild back then because it was just the way that I was trained with my sales background. If someone left a comment or someone, you know, anything that I was doing, whether it be a video that I put out or anything like that, I was looking on their site and seeing if they had a phone number. And I called them up. Hey, I just want to introduce myself. I saw that you left a comment and just wanted to, you know, let you know who I am, and, you know, not trying to pitch on anything or anything like that, just trying to really make an introduction. And that really kind of helped me. But social media and all of this is really designed to build relationships, in my opinion, joint venture partnerships, spread value, and really build a brand. But if you're looking at lead generation and you really you have to really look at the numbers, right? So you really need to begin to look at how can you reinvest profits, what kind of funds can you put together for paid advertising, and are you putting yourself around people that, you know, are having success with a particular model, a particular sales funnel, and what sort of paid advertising methods are they using, and what are the analytics? So, you know, for me in the beginning, that was another big mistake for me. You know, was I was just kind of a cowboy out there running around, and I was still making money and making sales, I think, because of my traditional sales background, and the fact that I would pick up a phone and kind of do what I don't see a lot of people do, you know, online now. And I think it's the way they're being educated, as well, to kind of hide in the background as much as possible. But certainly once I started to kind of get myself dialed into numbers and those sorts of things, then definitely things started to improve for me dramatically.
I think you make a good point. I think people think they can be the Wizard of Oz in this business and they can just sit behind the curtain and press buttons. But in reality, I think the people that do really well are the ones that, you know, they allow a certain level of people kind of to pop their heads up, and those are the people they start talking with, what I call the leaders. And you do have to pick up the phone and call people. It's not a non-human business. I'm sure there are some internet models out there where you can do it, but I know most of our business, the people that we are going to work with are going to have the ability and the courage to pick up the phone and say, hey, I just saw you responded to, the EmpowerNetGuru video. Just want to introduce myself and let you know my story and see if you're a candidate to work with our team. And, there is that is going to be involved. And a lot of people try and avoid using the phone nowadays. And I've gotten to the point now, I know on our opt-in forms, I put the phone number because somebody who puts in their phone number actually is probably more interested than somebody who doesn't. So it's kind of a filter to me that if somebody puts their phone, I don't require it, but, I put it there. And if they put it, they're saying, hey, give me a call. And, I think that's a kind thing to do. So that's great advice, is not only to allow the internet marketing system to really filter people out, but to identify people you should be contacting.
Yeah, I think obviously like you said, there are models out there that would facilitate not really having to communicate other than through your systems or email correspondence and that sort of thing. But I think with what we're doing and obviously looking for business professionals, people that understand, and are looking for, not only ways to generate extra income, but really looking to tap into this entire, internet marketing model. Because I tell you, there's nothing like someone who understands business who finally dials into this whole internet marketing, platform. When you see them dial in, it's almost like the light bulbs, there's so many things going through their heads at that point. Like, it's like, oh my gosh, okay, I understand the model, I understand what a sales funnel is, what an autorespond, and so it's like, that's when the ideas just start to pour in. And so to me, those are the very best people to kind of work with, because they understand right up front they're going to have to invest in themselves, and I really like, obviously, what we're doing with the Empower Network and what we're doing here, because it's I have such a, when I'm talking to somebody about it, and especially someone that's new, I have a real passion, because you are putting them in an opportunity, not only to get phenomenal training, but you're putting them in an opportunity to getting cash flow right away, positive cash flow right away, being able to turn around and generate 100% commissions on the information, and being able to tap into our network and being able to tap into all the training available to them. There's not a lot out there that can kind of stack up with that. So that's very exciting. So yeah, I mean, and you typically know, and that's why I like to get on the phone, to be honest. That's why I like to, because we're investing a lot in that individual. They're not only investing in themselves and that sort of thing. I want to invest my time, I want to invest my resources in somebody that I know is not only serious, but somebody that I know is going to, they're really laser being focused on learning what they need to learn to be successful, and they kind of understand, at least have some sort of a business acumen, because, that's another huge mistake I've made, and people will make in this industry, is you'll invest a lot of time, or I did in the beginning, in the wrong people, because I wanted to help everyone. It's just my nature. I see it, and I'm going, hey, if you'll just do this, and let's get you here, and let's do this, and let's focus on this, and if that individual isn't willing to, I mean, it's work. That's the other thing that blows my mind in some cases is the illusion that, that you're going to plug in. Now, obviously, if you can find the right team, you can find the right system, you can put yourself in a position, that's where you're going to be able to maximize your time. If you go into a situation and you buy into a program, it's got no sales funnel, you've got no real sort of support, I mean, you are absolutely dead in the water, even if you're a massive action taker.
Right.
And that happened to me. I got involved in a few programs, and I said I was bound and determined I'm going to make this happen. I didn't have the right mentorship, I didn't have the right support, but I was just like, I don't care, I'm going to make it happen. And I was working myself into the ground, and it was ridiculous. It was like, wait a minute, what are you doing? And so, I didn't have the tools, right? I was going to a gunfight with a knife, and it wasn't going to happen. So, and it didn't matter how hard I worked or how much I wanted it to happen. If you don't have the right systems in place and you're on the internet, you don't have the pieces of the puzzle put together, your odds are slim to none that you're going to be able to succeed with it. So that's big. But once you get into the model, once you get plugged in, all these trainings, all this information, all these webinars, everything that's being given to you, you have to take action on it. And I say massive action. If you're serious about being an escape artist, if you're serious about changing your life, if you're serious about getting out of whatever it is you're in and really going down this path that you sit and maybe dream about, you have to take action. And here's the other thing that's really phenomenal about taking action that I've learned, because a lot of my success has been based on other people, and I knew that going in. I'm a big joint venture guy. I'm big into, I know my strengths, I know my weaknesses, and with the internet, I understand that to get to the next level and the next level, it has to be through people, and it has to be through the right people, people who have been down that road. You have to be willing to be a student. You have to be willing to listen. You have to be willing just to take action. But no ego, none of that. It's business, and that's why business people are great, because they just want to know the numbers. They just want to know, what do I have to do? How do I have to do it? Now let me go do it. And that's it. So that's really important for people, because if you can get plugged into a phenomenal situation just like this, and if you expect it to work for you and you not put any effort in, then it's just not common sense. So that's where passion is important, right? We talk about, you gotta love, I love what I do. I love this. And Tom, I know you're like a workaholic. I don't even know how, between you and Darren, I can't keep up. You guys are like ridiculous. So,
Eric, you didn't realize that I have an identical twin, so that's probably what you're saying.
You and Darren. I mean, it's amazing. I'll wake up in the middle of the night sometimes, and he'll have a post on Facebook at 3, 4 in the morning. I'm going,
You caught me last night at about 2:30. I saw you. I've made a post, and I'm like, oh, there's Eric. He's on there.
Yeah, it's why you're where you're at, and why you've had the success that you had. It's why I was able to leave corporate America. That was big for me. I wanted to kind of be in charge of my own destiny and really kind of do what I mean, I call myself the digital gangster. I mean, I took so much flack for that. I've had family members and everyone that I can remember the early days when people just they laughed at me. They're like, man, you have lost your mind. Like, you have a nice job. It's a large, it's a big company. You've got all these benefits. It's everything that they tell you, right? Don't go out in the woods, don't go out in the forest, that's where all the lions and tigers are, and that's where you're going to get eaten up. Don't stay out here with all the sheep, right? Stay out here with the cows, right? Let's stay in the cow pasture. We're good. We got all the benefits. And I was just like, you know what? I'm not having it. I don't care. I'm just going to go. Whatever. If I get eaten up, I get eaten up. I don't care anymore. I'm ready to go. So, but it took, the first couple of years for me was, if I had come into this situation with these mentors and this type of training information and 100% commissions and all this sort of stuff that's involved in what we're doing here, it would have saved me so much time and heartache and all that. But, I spent 2 years just getting pounded and pounded and pounded. I was doing calls, but I had built teams of people that weren't action takers, and I found myself in a position where I was trying to push everybody to success and push everybody to where I was going. And it was just, and my kids were young. I didn't sleep then. It was crazy. I would come home there were times during work where I'd be in between sales appointments, and I would find Wi-Fi spots, and I would be doing video emails and stuff throughout my workday as I'm waiting for my next appointment, and then get home, spend time with the kids, and then be up all night trying to figure this stuff out, and then have to be up and, in the field and working again the next day. So, if you're not passionate, if you don't have that, if it's just kind of a money deal, or it's just kind of, figure out your passion and, use what you're going to learn here to explode that passion. Because if you're not excited about what you're doing, especially in this world, you're never going to make it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just being upfront and honest.
We tell people that, the commitment you apply to the business will really ultimately determine your success too. And I think people come in and they think they can invest $25 or $97 into a program and they're going to become successful. And the reality is, personally, I know I probably spent in excess of $15,000 or $20,000 my first year, when I first got into internet marketing. And that was mostly buying programs, what I call sucker programs, that really taught me what not to do. And so, it's so funny. I even bought one the other day. I was thinking about when you were saying picking up the phone and calling somebody. Here's a great example. I see internet programs online, and I watch them. I study them because some of these guys are really brilliant marketers. And this guy walks me through a scenario, and by the time I'm done with it, I've got $700 on my credit card. I mean, it was just the most beautiful upsell program. I admired everything about it. I just kept charging. I said, what's he coming at me with next? Is it going to be 47? Is it going to be 97? And it was 147, and I'm laughing as I'm going through this program, and I'm going, I'm investing in my education, watching this guy and all these great tools he has. And when I got the program, I dove into it. It was on a Sunday. I put about 8 hours into the program just to really see if what this guy was selling was for real, because I knew if it was garbage, I could ask ClickBank and get my money back. And, I went through the entire program. I set up the websites. There were technical problems. There were broken links. And I just emailed the guy a letter. I said, I could really blow your program wide open, but I bought $700 worth of your stuff and half of it doesn't work. I said, if you will provide me with a mentor that shows me how to fix these programs, I will market your product. And they emailed me and said, oh, change this code. And then I changed it. It didn't work. I emailed them back and they never emailed me back again. And they let $700 sale go because their program wasn't any good. And I know that selection of programs is very important. And I'm not going to mention the program's name on this video because different people could have different experiences. I'm pretty astute when it comes to internet marketing and figuring out code and all that. And I couldn't get it to work. So I can't imagine a newbie would. But some guy comes to you with $1,500 to $5,000, and he wants to invest in a part-time internet business to get his feet wet. I noticed that you represent several programs. Is that unusual for a successful internet marketer to, say, market 4 or 5 different opportunities? And if it's not unusual, why do you do it?
I don't think it's unusual now these days. I think, it's, obviously, and that's another issue from the past. I've sort of put my eggs in one basket, and been in situations where I've put a lot of time, effort, and work into a project, and then it completely fall apart. And that's, I think once you understand this model and once you understand, how it works and you become fairly proficient in, I'm not, what I know, I know well, and I can typically set up, and that's the big thing, is how quickly can you set these funnels up, and how quickly can you put these situations together. And if you've got something that's generally working, and you can apply it to different industries, and and you're putting a lot of your advertising on autopilot, then for me, and I think for most marketers, there is an appeal to market multiple things. It's interesting. I'll talk to a couple of friends of mine that are real talented affiliate marketers, and it's always interesting to me what industries they're getting involved with. I mean, just some of the stuff that they sell online would just blow you away. Like I would never even have thought of that. You know what I mean? So it's just some obscure niche product or whatever. But when you understand the model and you get proficient and you know that you find a specific niche or a specific product or whatever it is, and you know that you can, put a funnel. There's nobody's out there selling it with any sort of internet sales funnel. There's nobody walking them through a system. There's no way that, they don't have anything in place to continue to market to that prospect, once they maybe opted in to learn more, get a free report or whatever. Once you kind of understand that model and you're able to kind of build that out, then you know that you look at from a search engine optimization standpoint, you look at the rankings and you go, wow, I could completely dominate for this entire product, and through organic search rankings, through press releases, through video, through articles, whatever. And many of these guys, online marketers, they can put that whole bill in place within a week, and they're done. It's like, so it's really pretty amazing, once you kind of learn and understand this model. And I think most marketers in general and people that are creative are always looking for, money trees. I call them money trees, right? So it's just like the insurance thing is like, I would have never thought I would be in that industry, but somebody said, hey, it's $1 trillion industry. And I looked at it and I said, wow, okay, this is what they're doing. Okay, well, how are you bringing on agents? It's like, well, it's so traditional. They didn't have any, and I'm going, okay, so literally in a week, I can put a funnel together, use Craigslist, and you're telling me that every agent that you bring on board, every sale that they make, I'm going to make an override on every sale that comes in. And it took me a week to put that together.
Right.
And it's very, very little bit of management behind it. So anyway, I know I'm kind of all over, but yeah, I think once you kind of understand this model and understand how it works, then certainly, you're able to kind of work multiple things, I think, efficiently.
Yeah, well, I think that's the key I know that you market, obviously, the blogging program, with Empower Network. You've got the weight loss product with Singular. We know that people need to lose weight. You've got your escape date, social and business networking community. And people think it's unusual, but I mean, if you attract people to a business, 98% are not going to be interested in weight loss. 98%, or maybe less than that, 98% may not be interested in blogging. But if you have all these 98% that are left, that means you've got about 100 businesses or 50 businesses you could actually market, and you'd actually encompass your whole database that you built. And that really dawned on me, and I can't remember who it was, but it was one of the internet marketers said that 98% of the people are not going to buy your primary product offering, so why not sell them something else? And I know you watch my beef videos, and that's how we really kind of met, was through the beef video. And it was, I talked about, you're not just selling USDA beef, you're selling Kobe beef, you're selling Argentine beef, you're selling Brazilian beef. Just don't sell diapers, because that database isn't going to understand why they're getting a diapers email, So I think that, what you're doing is, or what I hear you saying is, though the products are important and the profit margins are important, the model is really the first precedent you must really understand. And that's why in our online marketing secrets made easy, we show people the business model, because there's lead generation, there's the sales and marketing process through the database, and then of course there's the conversions and the follow-up. And it's, like I said, it's very similar to offline business. And I think we'll close here in just a minute, but I want you to talk a minute about corporate people that are looking at the corporate world, and they're going, you know what, I really do need to learn this online stuff, because I got real burned last time after 2008. I'm thinking of all the people at Bear Stearns and all the people at Lehman and all the people that just lost their retirements. In hindsight, they look at it now and they go, maybe I really should be a webpreneur. What are your thoughts on that?
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. And it's interesting. I'm having conversations now with, vice president of marketing, just people that are in positions where they're nervous now. They don't know what's going to happen. Everything is so unstable. And they are online at night trying to look and figure out ways plan Bs. I mean, and so I think that it's almost a no-brainer. What's interesting too, I think a lot of corporate folks, especially even sales professionals, over the years they've tried things. So a lot of them have been involved in, say, the direct sales model, and haven't had much success. I mean, I spent 10 years trying to, when I was in corporate sales, and I thought that would translate over to the direct sales model, and it really didn't. And I didn't have probably the right mentorship. Maybe I wasn't, from a mindset standpoint, ready to take that model to another level. But I spent 10 years kind of in and out of that world, and I saw a lot of other corporate folks doing the same thing. And what really kind of changed, and what I think that most folks are looking for, is their lives are extremely busy. If they are working a full-time job, they do have a family, then the internet is a place that can absolutely, completely change your entire situation. And I think are there still people out there doing it the traditional methods? Yes. But most of them are career, say in the direct sales industry, they're career networkers. So what a lot of people don't understand is they're getting deals with these companies. They already have networks because they've spent years and years and years in the industry, right? So I think you have to be dialed into the internet. You have to be, you're almost being forced into that webpreneur situation. And so a lot of corporate folks are, they're experiencing the same thing that I experienced. They're buying the junk programs. They're not connecting. It's interesting. They might be buying a program that just looks like it's being done by, these professional folks that have been maybe in and around the corporate world. And it could be an 18-year-old kid, pimple-faced kid in a basement that's putting this stuff together. I mean, so this is why I think, it's so important what we're doing, because we have people that, I was in corporate sales for, 10 plus years. You've been in and out of business in the corporate world and all that, and 15-year vet on the internet. Guys like Darren Little, who, made millions in traditional business. I mean, we're collecting a group of people that kind of understand that mindset, and we're really kind of getting to the nuts and bolts of what is it going to take for you to understand. And that's my big thing. I want people to understand the model. Like, I want people to get dialed into what is actually happening, what is transpiring in front of their eyes on the computer, and understand the components, because that's when, once you understand that piece, that's when an entrepreneur can go out and figure out ways to make money with it. Yeah. That's the key. It's like, now I know how to make money with what I know, because I understand the model. So now I can go, okay, what segments, where do I want to go with this? Yeah. But, so many people don't. And I think that's why I like corporate people and people that have been, kind of around the block a little bit, because they've been through most of the snares, and they're really looking for solid information. Like, just hit me with, I don't need a bunch of hype. I understand it's hard work. I understand I got to dive in. I just want good mentorship. I want good information, and then I'll go apply it. So I think what's going on here, and like I said in the beginning of this, the perfect situation is if someone told me when I first started, we're going to put great mentorship in front of you. We're going to put solid information. Like, you're going to get information on what actually works. People that have been in the trenches, this is what they do. This is where they spend their money. This is how they advertise. These are the type of funnels. This is what they put in place to grow their businesses. You're going to get that meat and potatoes information. And by the way, while you're working with these mentors and you're learning this information, if you just share your passion and excitement about what you're learning, and anybody else jumps in, you're going to make 100% commission on it. Like, tell me there's not a better situation for anybody who's looking to try to plug in on the internet. Anybody. What are you going to do? You're going to go buy, just like you did, right? You've been in the industry 15 years, and you spent $700 on some clickbait product. If a newbie did that, first of all, they might not even have got through the whole even the sales officer going, what's going on. But if they would have bought all that information, they don't know what code is. They don't know any of this stuff. And that's what's happening to people all day long on the internet. They go and they buy this, that's why informational products are so, people make millions and millions of dollars, right? All the big gurus are selling informational products, and so many people buy this. But you're really, unless you've got the right information, you've got a group of people that can dial you in on the model, then unless you're just really very smart, very bright, very stick-to-itiveness, and you kind of get this figured out on your own, then you're just going to be frustrated. You're going to lose a lot of money, and and you're just going to say that whole deal doesn't work. And then you're going to watch guys like me and Tom and these other people traveling around all over the world, having a good time, owning our own life and doing our own thing because we plugged ourselves into the right situation with the right people. And mentorship is huge. I mean, that was another big thing for me. But I kind of ramble a lot, Tom, but I hope I'm making sense there. I think people are in a great situation here, whether they be corporate or whether they just be somebody that's just really dialed in and focused, and they want to change their life path, and they're willing to work. I don't see how many holes you can shoot in what it is that they have available to them here.
Yeah, I think
they truly want to learn it.
Yeah, what's interesting, and I would tell everybody this that's watching this video, and I know this is the first of 3 videos or 4 videos that you're getting from us, but probably the most important thing is to get your ego out of the way and say, I need your help. I remember reading a manual, and it was a long time ago because we had AWeber a long time ago, and I remember reading the manual, and at the end, I read it and I went, what's an autoresponder? I mean, I read this whole manual on AWeber, and at the end I went, what's an autoresponder? I had no idea. And, it's kind of like and here's another great analogy. You'll like this. You go to the car dealership, you buy a car, you get in the driver's seat, you put your hands on the wheel, and you go, I don't know how to drive. Crap, what am I doing here? And I think a lot of people do that in the internet, is they go out and they buy a car, and they don't even realize they don't even know how to drive. They don't have a learner's permit. They haven't worked with their parents on driving. And at the end of the day, I think that's what we are able to lend them with Escape Home Business and certainly the EmpowerNetGuru team that we have together. So let me conclude by saying, and I'll give you a chance to conclude, Eric, on your final thoughts. But if you're seeing this for the first time, what you're really witnessing are 2 guys that have come from the traditional offline business. We recognized that the internet was the future, and that was a long time ago for me, that, an understanding that, everything's going to be online. In fact, everybody always said everything was going to be free online, and I can tell you that I have at least $1,200 a month coming off my credit card somewhere. I mean, some of these charges, I'm not even sure what they're for, but I have subscriptions to a lot of things. So the internet is not free. There's a lot of great tools out there. There's a lot of great free information, but it typically leads you to something that you have to pay for. And that's really been the art of online marketing, is the art of the freemium and getting people to be interested in what you're talking about. Now, we have provided you these 4 videos, and this is the first one you're going to see, and you've got a couple more coming to you. And at the last video, you're going to have an opportunity to schedule an appointment through an electronic calendar with our team. So if you're really serious and you have the resources to invest, and you're coming from the corporate world and maybe you resonate with what we're saying, your opportunity very soon will come up to where you can schedule an interview with us. And sometimes these interviews will last an hour, 2 hours long, because we really want to get to know the people that we're working with. And I know that you'll go through all of the mentors. We'll talk to you for a few minutes to really find out what your goals and what your passions are, because this business is, I think you said, Eric, it's not for everybody. If you don't have a passion or an escape artist dream, as we say in our business, to want to be able to live anywhere in the world on your own terms, you might just want to go get a government job, because this may not be for you. So I guess in conclusion, we've talked about a lot. You've talked about mentoring, stress that. You've talked about having the right products. When people come to us, what are they going to expect to get from you, Eric? What do you have to offer the team when a newbie comes on board with us? What's going to be your number one initiative with these people?
Well, number one initiative is, and you said it, is that initial interview. I mean, that is so crucial. It's so crucial to find out what makes that individual tick. And I really wish I would have had that sort of mentorship in the beginning and somebody that could really put sort of a roadmap together based on, what are they interested in? Like for me, I like doing, like in the beginning, I love doing like short little videos because I'm not the greatest at writing copy, but there's some people that love to write. So, we have a viral blogging network. So what is the makeup of this individual? What are they really trying to accomplish? And really, not only finding out about them, but really giving them, here are the meat and potatoes. Here's what you're going to have to do. Here's what you're going to have to invest in yourself and your business to be successful. And I think in a world that's designed to take your money on the internet through copy and hype, I think what we're doing is refreshing because, I want that individual to know right up front. I don't want you to invest in this if you're not willing to. You're telling me you want this, this, and this, and I'm telling you to get that. You're going to have to, this is what you're going to have to invest. And how much time do you have to invest? And let's put a roadmap together. Yeah. And that is so crucial. And most people that get plugged in online never have that opportunity to be in that situation. So, for me, I really take anyone that I'm personally working with, it's almost like I take pride in their business and their success, probably more than my own. I've always been that way. And, and when I shifted, you're going to get this in some of the mindset videos, and that's a whole other series. But when I shifted my mindset and I started to attract really high quality corporate folks, people who have been successful in other industries that really wanted to learn the internet, it became very exciting for me. So if you're one of those people, I'm more excited about putting you in a position to be successful, understand this model, because in the end, we're all networking, right? So it behooves me and it behooves our team to make sure that you become successful because who knows where you're going to go. It's funny you mentioned this, Tom, about ego. 3 years ago, I introduced a kid that was 15 years old to internet marketing. Okay, he's based out of San Diego, right outside of San Diego, California. Within 6 months, this kid was making more money on the internet than any of his high school teachers. Okay, this kid's phenomenal, right? So within a couple of years, he started. There's another big marketer out there, a guy by the name of Russell Brunson. That he's connected with and does some stuff with. So at 18 now, okay, this guy makes more. At 18 makes more money than most corporate executives that are out there, quite a bit more. And at 18 years old, I'm 38 years old. You talk about ego. This is a guy that I quietly go to behind the scenes. And he's always open to me because I open the door to the whole internet marketing. And he's 18 years old. And I get so many tips and tricks and learn so much from this 18-year-old kid. And that's what's important. You have to shed the ego, get plugged in, just understand that. I just come at that with the mindset of a student. And you're going to be around people like myself, around Tom, Darren, all of the other mentors that come into play. And I'm like the Jim Rohn, right? If you take one step forward, I'll take two. And that's how I deal with people. We're going to put a game plan in place, and then it's your turn to take action. Here's what we're going to do. You take that action, then we're going to move to the next. We're going to move 2 steps forward now. We're going to move to the next level. And those are the type of people, quite honestly, that I know we're trying to attract. I know that this funnel that we've put together, that you've put together, is going to attract. We're going to attract these phenomenal people from the corporate environment, people successful in multiple industries that understand that they really need to be leveraging the internet. It's going to open up a lot of doorways for them. And we're the guys that are going to help, to kind of push them along. So I'm excited to be a part of this project. I'm excited for anybody that kind of opts in and wants to get involved. I'm going to go above and beyond for anybody plugging into this network. And because I love what I do. So, and I'm passionate about what I do. And people that get to know me and work with me figure that out very quickly. It's just like working with Tom. I mean, it wasn't, or Darren or any of these other mentors, you don't have to be around these guys very long to know that they're not only highly skilled, but highly passionate about what they're doing. And man, when you can put that combination together and get plugged into that type of group and people, you will elevate your success at an enormous rate. It will blow your mind if you just plug in, take action, and kind of follow the leader sort of thing. So I'm excited, Tom. I appreciate you having me here. I appreciate you taking the time.
Yeah. Thank you. I think you're right. I think in 90 days, and I say this very confidently, that you can learn as much in 90 days with us that it probably took 2.5 years for us to learn. So I think that's been something that in putting this program together and the quality of content. So I'll just conclude by saying, Eric, thank you. It's a real pleasure working with you and seeing all of you. And people will learn that Eric is the king of the spontaneous video. So the spontaneous YouTube video. He has a bunch of great ones on his site, and they get watched, and people like them. But we're going to be moving forward, and you'll be getting your next interview in the next day with Darren Little. I want you to be sure to watch that and take notes, because at the end of the day, we're going to ask you in the interview, we're going to be asking you what made sense to you in the videos. Maybe you watched the first one, you understood the business model. You watched Eric's video and you understood that you needed mentorship, and that being able to ask for help and realizing that, you're going to have a little bit of a learning curve is something you got from this video. Make sure that from each video, you know what you're learning, getting those golden nuggets of wisdom, we say. And, Eric, I think we've had an opportunity really to find our voice in the internet, and now it's our opportunity to help others find theirs. And again, I appreciate all of the words that you had to say on this video, and look forward to helping some people come be very, very successful in this business. Seeing people becoming more successful than we are. So I think that even makes it more fun. So I appreciate your time.
Appreciate it.
Thank you for watching the video. This is Tom with Escape Artist and Escape Home Business, and look forward to you seeing the next interview.